Welcome everyone. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this tub for the Old West Hotel. All of my pieces are cut from 4 layers of cardstock. If you happen to use food packaging, you'll want to make sure that your layers equal a 1/16 of an inch thick. For the corner pieces, you'll need to measure in a 1/16 of an inch on each side, then line up the top corner with the 1/16 inch mark and trim it off. The piece you cut off will look like a tall, skinny triangle. The corner pieces that are cut from cardstock are going to be cut the same way. You will measure in a 1/16 of an inch on each side on the bottom. You will line up that mark with the top corner and trim away. Don't layer up the lightweight cardstock pieces. They only need to be 1 layer thick. I center and glue the tub corner piece over the lightweight cardstock corner piece. Then I glue the tub end over the lip of the tub corner piece. Then I glue the tub front or back to the other side of the corner piece. And this is how that should look. You will have the tub side, a corner piece, and the front and back. Then I create one of those corner pieces again, and I glue the tub front and back or back piece to that corner. Here I'm gluing the side piece onto the other side of that corner. Just make sure you don't have 2 sides or 2 front and back pieces attached to the corner because it won't turn into the tub shape correctly. Here I'm adding a corner piece to one of the sides, and then I glue the tub front or back piece onto the opposite side of that. Also, make sure that your corner pieces are all facing in the same direction. The wider end of the corner piece is the top. I'm adding the last corner piece to the tub front or side piece. This is how your pieces should look once they're all glued together. You'll have a side, a corner, a front and back, a corner, a side, a corner, a front and back, and the corner. I've turned it over and I use my ruler to make a fold on each one of the pieces where they join onto the corner. And now I'm gluing the 2 ends together to form a loop. Be sure to let it dry really well before moving on to the next step. You don't want it to pull apart. And now it's starting to get its tub shape. The top of the tub is wider than at the base. I apply some glue to the bottom of the tub and then I lay it down on a piece of scrap cardstock or a full sheet of cardstock. I'm making sure to press it down really well, but not too hard so that you don't break it. I wipe away any glue that's oozed out on the outside of the tub. I also ran a bead of glue around the inside of the tub and smoothed it with my finger. I let this dry thoroughly before I move on to the next step. It's very important. Once it's completely dry, I trim it really close to the base to remove it from the cardstock. And here is how it looks so far. Now I'm gluing the remaining lightweight cardstock corners over the outside of the corners to reinforce them. I think it also adds a little decorative element to it as well. You could also make the corner pieces wider if you needed to. I'm using a bone folder to press it around the corner flat. You could also use the back of a ruler. I turned it upside down and I'm tracing the top edge onto some cardstock. I'm trying to create a top rim or ledge of the bathtub. And now I'm just cleaning up my lines, darkening them and making them straighter. I'm making an 1/8 inch mark on the outside and the inside of my line because I'm trying to create a lip that will be on the inside and on the outside. I hope that makes sense. It was really hard to explain. The center line is my original line, so you can see that I added a line to the outside and to the inside. It doesn't necessarily need to be measured either, as long as you keep it the same distance. Now I'm just checking to see how it will fit. And now with the tub standing upright, I'm tracing the bottom of the tub onto some cardstock. This way I can create a little base for the tub. Just like before, I'm going to clean up my lines and darken them a little bit. And I'm adding an 1/8 inch only to the outside. So the inside line is my original trace line, and I added an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. This doesn't really need to be measured, just as long as you keep it the same size. Here I'm checking how the base will fit. This will help strengthen the bottom of the tub too. You could probably also cut this base as a rectangle or an oval. I'm gluing the top rim down to some cardstock. Then I will cut it out and glue it and cut it out again like 3 or 4 times to the thickness that I would like. I think I did about 6 or 7 layers because I wanted it to look really thick. I just used my utility knife to cut out the center. It seemed much easier than trying to do the scissors. I'm repeating the same process over again for the base. Cut as many layers as you would like to get to the desired thickness of your base. Here's what I have so far. I know the top looks kind of thick and bulky, but I wanted it to look like 1x4s were maybe used to frame it out. I originally designed this in Silhouette Studio, and this was the first one that I made. So if you didn't want to make a rustic tub, you could always finish it the way that you would like. I think it could be pretty versatile. I'm sealing all of my pieces with a thin coat of Mod Podge. Of course, this is optional, but I sanded my top and my base piece before I coated it with the Mod Podge. These strips of cardstock were cut the height of my tub so that I could cut the slats out of it. So I'm coating it with Mod Podge too to seal it. Next, I'm gluing the base to the bottom of the tub. I'm pressing it down really good in the center so I won't get any bubbles on the bottom of my tub. That seems like a funny thing to say about a tub. On the top of the tub, I carved in some lines to make it look like that was the different pieces of wood that were cut to form the shape of the top of the tub. Now I'm scratching that rough wood grain into it. It's strange, but I find this kind of relaxing. Here it is with all of the wood grain scratched in. You wouldn't want to sit on the edge. I'm sure you would get splinters. I scratched wood grain into the strips that are going to be the slats of the tub. I didn't measure, but I just cut out the slats very close in size to each other, the size that I thought the slats would be. I just glued them all around the outside of the tub, and when needed, I would trim to fit. I didn't want the slats to look super neat. I wanted it to look a little rustic. So it's okay if I had some big gaps or small gaps. I figured it would just add some Old West charm to it. I cut 2 thin strips of cardstock and sprayed them with water, and I'm going to wrap them around the tub near the top and near the bottom to look kind of like the rings that are on a barrel. The cardstock strips are only 11 inches long, so I did have about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch that I was too short. That's okay though, because I just cut some extra cardstock and filled in those empty spaces. I just love the way this tub is starting to look. Now it's time to glue the top on. I'm trying to make sure that I leave the same amount of space all the way around for the lip of the tub. I'm wiping away any glue that has oozed out under the top of the tub. And now it's all ready to paint. I'm going to be using antique parchment, King's Gold, and brown mixed together for the base. I base coated everything, even the inside of the tub. I created a wash using this brown and raw umber, and I gave the whole tub a wash on the outside and the inside. I added a little bit of black to the wash that I was using, and added a little bit here and there to make the wood maybe look a little bit more moldy. I took Mod Podge, black, and raw umber and painted the bands on the side of the tub. I forgot to record it, but I also used some chalk pastels. This one tub pattern created 2 very different looking tubs. I'm sure you could create some different looks too as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.